So multiplying with rounding, round to the highest place value, you know, there could come a time where they say on the homework to round to a nearest place value. I don't remember seeing any like that though, so I think we're going to see only front end rounding for these, which in this case you just round to the highest place value that's in a problem. But do remember, if it does ask on the homework to round to a specific place value, that you round to that specific place value first and then do your multiplication, which is how these ones are going to work. So 687 times 108, but we're only using front end rounding, and this is where we see an application of the base tens thing with multiplication, because all these numbers are going to end with zeros, right? So I'd say front end rounding, I would look at 687 first. You could look at the 108 first if you'd like. But I'd say, okay, I got the 6 in the front here. To the right of it is an 8. Since it's 5 or more, I would have to add 1 to that hundreds place value, making it now a 7. And then these other two place values, anything to the right of our target place value becomes just zeros. And so we can see how we're going to find more of this multiplication by base 10 stuff with the zero thing. So I now go to 108 and I see 1, that's my front end. To the right of that is a 0. Since it's just 0, that's less than 5. It's going to drop the 1 as just a 1. And then these other two place values become zeros. So after front end rounding, I got 700 times 100. Well, just like we saw with the base 10 thing, I got 2 zeros here, 2 zeros there. So my final answer is going to have 4 zeros, the final product. And all I got to do from that point is just solve 7 times 1. Anything times 1 is 7, itself rather. In this case, 7. So our final product of 700 times 100, 70,000. Yeah, and this example also wanted front-end rounding, but we could see problems that say, you know, maybe round to the nearest 10 or something like that. Doesn't matter. But for this one, front-end rounding, so I look at the front end for both. And the front end on both of these numbers, both these factors, are different place values, and that's okay with front-end rounding, right? So I start with the 6,061. I look at the 6. That's my front end. Immediately to the right is the hundreds place value, but it's a 0. That's less than 5, which means the 6 is just going to drop a 6. And then these other 3 place values are going to become zeros. Now I would look at the 52, right? Because remember, it's not showing the multiplication symbol here. That should tell us that it is multiplication. So I look at 52. I look at the front end of 52. That's a 5 in the tens place value. Immediately to the right is a 2, which means the 5 is going to stay a 5. And this ones place value will now be a 0. Well, since this is multiplication, I would look at how many zeros I got. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could put those on the answer right now. And then I would just put the product of 6 and 5 and tack those on to the zeros. 6 times 5 is 30. So I write in the 30. I got the other 4 zeros there, which means my final product here is 30,000. Sorry, 300,000. That's better.